who is here that actually has a trucking company, and you're looking to learn different aspects of how you can do business with the government. So if you have a trucking company, let me know where you're from, what type of trucking service that you also provide. Okay. There are several different types of contracting opportunities that are out there for trucking industries. I'm going to show you 5 most uncommon that are there. These are like more specific, very, very specific types of contracting opportunities that you can go out and you can find today. What better way than to land the #1 biggest purchaser of business products and services? Better yet, the #1 purchaser of trucking services in the world as your client, and that's the government. And yes, they buy from even the little guys, right? So for those of you who have those box trucks, those refrigerator trucks, those freight trucks and dump trucks and all that stuff, the government has your money. I'm going to show you 5 different ways that you can actually go get that money today. All right. So the first type of government contract that is most uncommon, that you're probably not thinking as an opportunity for you, is going to be hauling. And that's hauling government supplies and equipment. Did you not know that you can do that? And I want to expound upon that a little bit. Well, what type of government supplies or equipment will the government, allow me to haul? Well, there's an unlimited opportunity of different types of things that you can haul and equipment and supplies for the government. It could be food. It could be furniture. It could be weapons, like depending on where you are. It could be anything, whatever they need. Sometimes, they need art. If they're moving, like relocation, there's all different types of ways that you can like haul both supplies or equipment for the government. So that's one uncommon way that most people just don't look at as an opportunity. Now, I talk about contracting opportunities all the time, and most of the time people think about government as, military. They think about war weapons, and those things are realistic things that you can, do with the government. However, what they kind of leave out a lot is prisons. Okay, so I want to talk about that just a little bit, because this is a forgotten institution, but these are governmental institutions. There are federal prisons, there are county and city prisons, right? But in the prisons are people. And I'm gonna go a little bit left before I come back right for a second. Because just a few weeks ago, I talked about how a barber actually landed a $800,000 plus contract doing barber services in the prison. And I'm going to get back to the trucking in just a moment. But prisoners also eat. So people in the food industry, prisons got you. I saw a 6-figure contract for hairstylists to do hairstyling for women in the women's prison. Prisoners also wear uniforms. And so this is one big agency that we kind of overlook. For trucking, bringing it back to trucking, when it comes to prisons, you can actually transport prisoners. That's a contract. You don't have to be armed guard or like a police officer or sheriff or any of that in order to transport prisoners. You can leverage your trucks to transport prisoners, right? Of course, they have to have seats and all that type of stuff or whatever, but that's just an idea. But that's the second one thing, the second uncommon type of contract that you can get that most people overlook. So the third type of contract, providing emergency response services. In fact, if you're in the trucking industry and you're not already registered with the Department of Transportation, then you're missing out on opportunities to do business with an agency that is like a no-brainer. But the thing is, providing emergency response services with the Department of Transportation, they also have an emergency registration list that you can actually get registered on to provide emergency trucking services. Well, what would be a case of emergency? Well, fires. In California, we have them all the time. Wildfires. Maybe they need to use your truck to transport food and water, or supplies, to communities that have been burnt out, and maybe the people are staying in like these camps and stuff in the meantime. But anyway, there's a list. There's a specific registration to be on that list. You can actually leverage your trucking opportunity or company to haul things, provide emergency response services, which also includes, especially if you have a refrigeration trucks, right? Food, like hauling food and things that need to be refrigerated in case of emergencies, that is huge. And right now we have more emergencies than not, across the globe, across the world. In fact, even in other countries, when Americans are responding as an emergency response to bring refuge and relief to other countries, you can actually land a contract to truck and haul freight and all that stuff to these other countries to deliver these goods and services that these other countries need as well. So anyway, the fourth thing on my list, the fourth type of uncommon government contract that you can actually get today as a trucking company is delivering food and other supplies to the disaster areas, which kind of like the last one kind of led into that. But delivering food and supplies, that's huge, right? Perhaps you can actually leverage your truck and figure out, like, how can I get a contract to bring more supplies to disaster areas, but also bring more supplies to hub zone communities or underserved communities and all these different things, right? So that's definitely something to have on your radar. And fifth but not least, these are just five uncommon things, but of course there's a whole bunch of other types of contracts that are out there for truckers. Most of whether it's trucking services or staffing the truckers or doing the logistics or doing the trucking administration part. Like, there's so many different things that you can actually do in the trucking industry. But so the fifth most uncommon is assisting with military operations. That's huge, right? So almost everywhere you go or every state has some type of military base, whether it's known publicly or it's underground, right? And so assisting with military operations using your trucks is going to be key. So that's five, but of course I listed out all the other different types of things that are already known, right? But these are five most uncommon. But I would say if you're in the trucking industry, maybe you're making some money. Like, I know people who have these trucks and they're trying to keep their overhead. They don't have loads coming in, and maybe your business is starting to go under and feel the pressure and all that stuff. I'm just going to say you need to be actually landing yourself a government contract. It's a very lucrative industry, which I'm sure you know, because you started that business because it's a lucrative industry. So if you're struggling to reach your next multiple six figures, then I'm just going to say plug into the government, because the opportunities are limitless, so that I can leverage that to start creating wealth for my family, not only just to get the mouths feed, not only just to pay the bills, but to be able to start, having my nest egg for my future retirement and all those things that are even more greater importance.